Hello everyone. So today we are going to start the Python basic course. Okay. So we'll be trying to cover from scratch those who don't know Python at all. So we will learn more about it, what's the need of it, and how are we going to write small code or script you call. Okay. So in this course we'll be covering the. Of course, we'll need to start with the installation so that you guys can practice along with me. So whichever the concepts we cover, and we'll be talking about the data types and different kinds of conditional statements, functions, and of course the important part is oops concept and exception handlings and file input and output, which will be very interesting for you to play around and try different things. And upon that we'll also cover modules and packages. Sorry if you had lost. So we'll be covering the modules and packages that comes with as an inbuilt or the one you can also create, and of course the OS packages. Okay, so I hope you guys are ready and I will start with the installation. Okay, so for you to start with the installation you can simply go to Google and say download Python, or I can share this slides with you and you have the links. Okay, from there you download uh, the Python, the latest one. I think 3.12 is the latest one. I have the little old one here. The screenshot is from the old installation, but yes, I think 3.212 is the one which is the latest currently. And for you to code, of course, it gives an inbuilt UI for you to code and run, but I would recommend you to go for the visual code. Okay, just download and have it installed, because at least from my side I'll be showing you and writing the codes on visual code. Okay. And of course there is other good platform, PyCharm, which is also more convenient to use because it gives you uh, little of a color differentiation, which is easy to catch and understand better, and gives you suggestions while you are typing the code to use any inbuilt uh, packages or functions that are already there, right? So you can explore both and choose whichever is more convenient to you, either the PyCharm or the Visual Code. But in this training sessions, I'll be using Visual Code. Okay. So while doing so, make sure you do select while installing the Python, add Python to the path. Let's not skip the environment variable. Let it add by default through the installation itself. Otherwise, again, we have to do it manually. Okay, even if you have missed it already, or if you if you are getting any error, just run the exe file again for the Python, and this time you say to customize or to change, right? And then when you come back, you make sure you select these two checkbox. Okay, assuming you guys have done the installation and good to start with, or you can do it parallelly while listening to me, because we'll be talking about what is Python, how what all features it provides, the basic stuffs which you don't need immediately Python to be there on your system, or a Visual Code or PyCharm to be there. Okay. Meanwhile, you can do the downloads and keep the installations in the background and listen to this training. Okay. So where can we use Python? If you have, or if you are seeing this video, the training material at this point of time in 2025 or further in coming years, which means already Python is a very strong and a very important coding language. It has taken over the market. Okay, Java was the thing before. Wherever you see, wherever you code, most of the things used to be in Java. Of course, .NET is there, but yes, I'm talking about the most used language. Okay, right now Python is taking over. Uh, so it's a mandatory skill, even if you're not a pro at coding, but at least it is important for you to know the basics, know the read, how to read the code, troubleshoot, understand the flow of it, and you should be able to write the minimum because it's a very easy language. Okay, it's just like how we talk, right? It's like an English language, how we write uh, any sentence. So not much of coding skills are required. uh, Not in terms of logical thinking, of course it's very important, because when the language get easier, you should have a very logical mind to use it, right? But otherwise, if you, in the going forward sessions, or maybe one or two examples we see today, you will realize that okay, it's no difficult, at least to write. Okay, the logical thinking, it improves with more practice and more codes you write and other stuff you do. But yes, so where you can use, of course, in developing desktop applications and web applications, it has already taken over these two areas, I think. Okay, many people have started coding in Python, and it's proved that it's more effective and convenient. Okay, be it for the developers, be it for the end users, the kind of features it provides. Okay, it is also used in developing database applications, network programming, of course, developing games, favorite to most of us, yeah, and data analysis applications, machine learning, of course. The ML has become a booming area now again, right? So same way, artificial intelligence, AI. Yes, I think AI and Python go hand in hand in coming days. Most of the things you want to automate, most of the things you want to build your own chatbot or something. I think yes, the Python would be a very essential skill to have. IoT, etc. Okay, many other areas. I think going forward, I think you can say it's there everywhere. Okay, that's uh, rate of growth Python is having currently. Okay, so features that it provides, like I said, it's very simple and very easy to learn. Okay, the basics you can learn very easily because not much of a headache. It's you can learn and start coding. Now, if you compare to Java, .NET, there is little of the things that you need to remember. Okay, this is the sequence it comes, and the main class has to be there. You cannot simply start simple code. But whereas Python is very simple. Okay, we will see how this statements comes true along with our next sessions. Okay, and of course it's a freeware and open source. Like we all downloaded it and installed on our machine. We don't have to pay any amount to have it installed on your machine and to start using it. Okay, it gives you all the features free. You don't have to pay for anything. Okay, and it's open. You can simply download it from Google. You don't need to have it taken from anywhere, right? For example, if I want to download Java package, I need to go to Oracle and then download it. I need to have an account. There are stuff. Okay, sorry. So, but whereas for Python, you can simply download it from web and start using. Okay, and of course, high level programming language. Yes, it is high level because, uh, like I said, it's already taking over many of the areas. Uh, and yes, it can be complex as hell. It can be simple also. Okay, it has both ends. It can go from one end to other end. It all depends on the use case. What is the scenario? So, okay, and platform independent. Yes, of course, you don't need to be on uh, Windows or anything. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can have it installed and you can code on any platform. Okay, and dynamically typed. Yes, you don't need to always have the variables first initialized and then start using them. Okay, for example, in Java or anywhere, you have to initialize those variables, declare those variables first, right? You need to show, okay, let us say I have a variable as sum, and then there is a diff. First, I have to make sure what is the data type for those two, that is int, float, or string, and then I can use them. Whereas in case of Python, you can directly say, okay, sum is equal to 123 by default. The compiler has understood that it is a int type. You don't have to specifically define what is the type of those variables. Okay, so that's what we call it as a dynamically typed. As and when you type, the compiler understands what type of an variable it is. Okay, and important part, procedure oriented and object oriented. It does support both. We'll see in those concept uh, one or two examples there. Uh, Okay, and interpreted, like I said, yes, again compiler knows as and when it executes. And extensible s and extensible library, yes, it gives lot of inbuilt functions. Okay, you don't need to worry of logic on building your own function, because it gives plenty of, I think, enough of inbuilt features and inbuilt functions for you to code. Okay, you can directly call them and start putting in your code and using. You don't have to worry or write a large number of lines of code. It even in that aspect also it does reduce the lines of code. Okay, flavors of Python. What are the different types of Python? It's not just uh, only one name that Python exists, right? Because many people in market have already started to move from Java to Python. Okay, from C language .NET to Python. So it's already they're migrating. So of course the Python does use that compatibility for them to move from one language to the Python, right? That's how one can conquer the market. Otherwise, if it is a standalone and it doesn't support, uh, the migration from one language to other, then people are okay to continue with what they have than moving to something uh, or to code it from the scratch. You see, there is a big difference when you want to write build things from the scratch than to simply migrate it from what where it exists to the newer features, right? So yes, Python has done that, and we have different uh, versions or different kinds of Python. uh, for the first one here I have listed few of them, not all of them. Okay, few of them which you guys might have already uh, aware of, C language, Java, right? So that's why I'm keeping only the examples that are more relevant to the audience so that you can relate it better. Okay, so we have JPython, we have CPython for the same. Iron Python is there for the .NET platforms, Ruby Python. Okay, so you can simply Google and understand based on your requirement which language is the one you're currently using and how you can migrate it to Python. Is it supported or not? Maybe one or two languages are there that are not supported. Okay, but yes, it's you can explore that part and use it wisely. Okay, okay, we'll jump to the few of the basics. Okay, like in Java and everywhere you read about identifiers, you read about special characters, you learn about data types, how we can use them, how we can initialize, right? Declare them. So all of that uh, in a way of how it works in Python, we'll understand that part. Okay, so identifiers are nothing but how you can code or declare certain variables, right? So here are some of them uh, which you can see. Okay, onto this total, yes, you can give it as a variable name, all this works. When you're giving a special character, be careful, we cannot start anything with the special character. We'll see what's the error, whether we can or not. Okay, so because when you face the error you will understand it better than just going through the stuff. Okay, and of course, if these are all inbuilt keywords which you cannot use as a variable name anywhere, it will conflict and it will give you an error. Okay, be careful with those. And of course, uh, whether you are using a Visual Studio, Visual Code or a PyCharm, there is a color differentiation between the keywords and the other variables that you name. Okay, so maybe once we start with an examples, we can look into that. Okay. So what I will do, I'll quickly open this. I have opened the uh, file here. and make sure your file is ending with .py. Okay, so it has to end with .py for compiler to identify and run your files. Okay, so let us say we have an example. Let us start with the cache. Okay, let's say it cache of 10, and we are going to print. So print remains the same since I'll be using this statement more often. So please understand the print statement. So we're going to use different print statements are there for variety or different kinds of print statements. Okay, we'll also see that, but as of now, so for to you to print anything, you can simply use a print, open bracket and close. Either you can use single quotes or you can use the double quotes. Okay, so whatever you put in here between these two will be printed. Okay, hi. So let me say hi here, and then we'll try to print the variable also. So when you are printing a value, you don't have to give it in double quotes or single quotes. That is only meant to print a statement. Okay, not any values. For you to print the values, you need to just give the variable name there. Like I said, you cannot start a variable name with the special characters. It will give you an error. So if I uh, move my cursor here, so it is saying okay, invalid character, right? So even if I run it, save the file, and then you have the option here for the visual code. For the PyCharm also you have a run option. Okay, or you can use the F5 shortcut to run any of your codes. Okay, so we can see there is an invalid syntax near. It is pointing at the dollar sign, right? So we cannot use a dollar symbol. If I remove it, it's all well and good. Let me remove it from here in the print statement, and I print it. You can see there is a high and there is a value 10 that is printed. Okay, so that's how you declare and use those variables in your code. Okay, similarly, if I'm using if or anything, let us see quickly the example of if, which is a inbuilt. Let me change it to if. Okay, so you can see the color code. When it was cache, it was in different color because that is something that I am declaring or defining the variable with a value 10. If I'm saying if is the inbuilt, you can see there is already a suggestion. So if I click on this, it is I'm taking from the suggested variables, and I cannot print if, right? So these are all inbuilt variables. You cannot use it for the purpose you want to declare any values. So again, you will get the same error. So if is correct, we don't have a problem with that. But how you are going to use it, you cannot assign it to some value. So that's why the error is pointing at equals. Okay, I hope it is clear. We'll see more inbuilt keywords that are already there. Okay. So as and when you code, you will know print is also one more inbuilt keyword. I cannot say print equal to 10 and then try to print it, right? It makes no sense. Likewise, if, else, while, for, these are all the loops, looping statements, right? Those you cannot use. You cannot use break, continue. So there are many. So which are mostly you are familiar already from other coding languages. Okay. So it's the same concept there. It remains same even with the Python. Okay. Let's go to the next comments. Yes, which is very important, very important. Okay, so whenever you are writing any of your code, even I would recommend you that you write a comments. It only uh, it's not just for your purpose. Okay, the whole purpose of putting the comments, be it one line or multi-line, you can write paragraphs also, uh, describing your code, what's the next lines of code is gonna do, right? So it's important because, and of course, not to forget, whenever you are giving any variable name, all right, let it be meaningful. You don't just randomly give. Maybe you remember from your school days or college days, we used to give, okay, a equal to 2, b equal to 3. Okay, if a is greater than b, okay, that was for the practice. Okay, but if you are into corporate, and if you are really writing uh, a meaningful code, right? So you cannot use such variables because every variable should have a meaningful name. Okay, so if you're having a max number, make it max number, max underscore number. If it's number one and number two, taking from the user, right? We will see those examples also, but make sure the variable names are meaningful, and whoever reads it, even other than you, or maybe you come back and read after an year or so while troubleshooting, debugging, right? One need to understand what is the variable meant, and also need to understand what the lines of codes are going to do, be it functions or be it any class that you're defining. Let there be a meaningful comment for you and as well as for others to understand. That's the main purpose. Okay, it's like it act like in a document. Okay, if you, let us say I write a code with no comments and then I create another document explaining that code, it is okay, it's not wrong, but problem is how effectively you can understand, right? You have to keep side by side and then read documentation, read the code and understand. Instead, if you have the inline comments, that makes more sense, right? It becomes more easy for one to understand. Okay, so there are again one line comment, multi-line comment, of course, very much needed. Okay, how you are going to do it? One, we'll see the first one line comment using an hash symbol. Okay, so wherever the statement is starting with a hash symbol, that line is considered as a comment in Python. Okay, if you're using a multi-line, then you can use three single quotes and closing with the same. Okay, we'll see quickly an example. For example, cache. I'll make, I want to comment this one because I don't want this variable to be there anymore, right? So you can see the comments turning into green color. Okay, so let us say I want to code all these three lines of code. Let's comment. Okay, so I'll use three, and if I'm ending with three, everything turned into multi-line comment with a different color code again. Okay, that's how the Python differentiates, and it's easy for one to read and understand. Okay, so I can simply put it here and then close my multi-line comment here. Okay, so if I'm describing, let us say uh, I have commented this and I also want to write a note saying that commenting this code for training. Okay, and I can start coding or putting next examples here, right? Whatever I want to put here. So if I at all I'm sharing this file with you guys, so you will know why this was commented. And if you want to execute this part and see, you can of course uncomment it. There are shortcuts again. You can use Control K, Control U. The It depends on the which app you are using or which tool you are using to code your uh, script. Okay. In this case, there are shortcuts. Of course, you can go here, help, and then find the shortcuts. Okay. Keyboard shortcut reference. So that's how it is. Single line and multi-line. Okay. Single line command, and that's a multi-line command. Okay. I hope it's clear. I'm just removing everything from here. We'll go back to our presentation. Okay, I hope it's clear. We can maybe start with a single line comment saying that this is my first program with variable declaration or identifiers or something like that. And then you write a multi-line comment saying uh, once you're commenting that part of the code. Okay, so what I'll be doing is I'll be having only one file open and I'll keep writing the code. And whenever I want to execute and show you the dedicated output for that line of code, I will comment the rest of the code. So that's where I'll be using multi-line comment. So I can comment a block of codes at a time. Okay. Okay. Going to print statement. Yes, like I said, there are at least two ways. Okay. As of now, there are two ways that you can print. One is we all saw already, print, and then you give the statement in single quotes or be it in double quotes. Okay, so one is using single quote, one is using double quote. Both will give you the same output. Or you can use F string. F string is again, I think I would call it a good feature Python provides. It's really important, and I would mostly choose F string over a normal print because it gives me a more flexibility to write the or to print the way I want it. Okay, we'll see why it is so important. Okay, even maybe you can start with a generic print statement and slowly move on to F string. Okay, we'll see quickly an example of it. So print using single quote. Okay, hello. We'll use double quotes. Okay, let me keep it single quote, and then we'll use F string. Okay, we'll print and see. So let me just clear it out and then we'll run again. Okay, so here is single quote, double quote. So both are acceptable. They don't throw any error. It all depends if you already want to print something in double quotes in between. That also we'll see the escape characters. Okay, we'll cover it next. Okay, how we want to print something that is in double quote. Let us say the quote itself, I want it to come in double quotes, right? So we'll see how we can use the escape characters to do that. Okay, so in the such cases, to differentiate your print statement, you can use a single quotes to begin with, and here I can put double quotes for this word. Okay, so and F string also gives you the same, right? You just have to begin with F in the print statement. That's the difference, and we'll also see how we can include uh, the existing variables. Let us say I have a variable like sum equal to 10, and then how I want to print saying that okay, the sum value is, and then I want to print the value directly from the variable. Okay, we'll see those examples also. We'll do some exercises and then we'll have a little hands-on on that. Okay, cool. I think it's clear for you guys to use print and f string. Data types, yes, like I said, or you might guys might be already aware from other coding languages. Okay, it's more or less the same. Okay, but again, Python has its own inbuilt data types to make your life easy. Okay, we'll talk about list, tuple, set, and these are the very strong and very useful. You will end up using it in many cases. Many cases, these data types. Of course, the int, float, complex, boolean, string, byte, all these things you will anyway know it from other languages. But the list, tuple, set, these are also there in other language. I would not say no, but how effectively are there in Python and how you can use it for your benefit, we'll see those examples. Okay, so not much to talk about data types. It's a well-known thing, but if you are completely new to the coding language, okay, in that case please try each of these examples. Int is for the integers, float is to define a floating value. Okay, same boolean is true or false, complex is using an I, right? String is for any of your you know code or anything that you write here, right? This is my string, double quote is my string, single quote is my string. That's how it is identified. String is always goes in double quotes or single quotes. That's how the compiler understand, okay, this is a string type. If I'm writing it as sum equals to 10, so the compiler understand this is a integer type. Okay, if I want to have name as Raj, then yes, This is a string type, right? So we'll also see how we can type or print the types of the variable. Okay, we'll come to those examples also. But if you're completely new to the coding language, I don't think in this time anybody would be. But if you are, don't worry, explore this. Spend some few 5 to 10 minutes on this slide. Go through different types and understand. Use them as an example. You don't have to worry. Just initialize. If you get any error, there are suggestions that comes with the tools that you are using. If not, just search for the error, fix it. If you're finding it something that is not cannot solve it, please put it in the comment. We would love to address them. Okay, it's not just a learning for me, it's not just learning for you guys. It's a, let it be a win-win situation for all of us. Okay, cool. Range. This is one of the data type. Okay, you can see here range. So what is the range? Range data type, it's gonna give me a sequence of number when I use it in my code. Okay, we'll see this example and then we'll also see the escape characters. And let me see till where we can go in this session. I think we'll stop at the data types. Okay, because you have multiple things that you can go back and practice. One is make sure you have the installation done, and then you try to initialize or declare different identifiers, try different ways, use special characters and try use maybe type something that you think might be keyword and see how the Python reacts to it. Okay, upon that try the comments, try different print statements, and of course if you are not so much of aware of these data types, please do try using them. Okay, we'll cover this one and we'll stop the first session here, and in the next session we'll be starting from the escape characters. Okay, the range is another powerful data type. Okay, so it provides or generates a sequence of number starting. You can also give the end, and it's always the case in range the end is not taken into consideration. It always ends, your generation of number ends just before to that. Okay, one less to that. Okay, so for examples you can see here range of 5 will give me 0 1 2 3 4, right? So by default it starts with 0, and by default it doesn't consider the last value or the n value. So range of n is not considered, or n is not printed or not generated. Okay, if you want to change to the number generation to start with something. Okay, I don't want 0 to be my first number that is generated. I want to start with 1. In that case I can give from 1 to 5. So 5 is not considered or not generated, so 1 2 3 4 is my output. You can also tell how you want to generate. Do you want to have a frequency like every second number should be given as an output, not all the numbers in that range? That also you can define using the third variable as an input to the range function. Okay, you can give the frequency how you want to be. So among 1 to 10 it has to skip the two now one number in between and then go on, right? So what will starting with 1, 10 will never be in your output. What will be the max if it is qualifying the frequency that you have given will be 9. If not it will be 8, right? So here I'm starting with 1 and then it will be 1 3 5 7. Similarly if I go for 2 to 10, what happens? It will start with 2 and then it will be 4, then it will be 6, and then it will be 8. You don't see 9. So it's not like always it is n minus 1. It is just whatever the value that qualifies before to the given n value. Okay, and also important thing to note, range data type is immutable, means you cannot define what it is. You can only define the start, end, and the frequency. You cannot decide or you cannot change the value that it generates. Okay, you can use that output and then perform the further activities, and then you can have a different value as an outcome, but you cannot change the value that it generates, right? So If I'm calling a range, it will give me this output any number of times I run the code. Okay, I cannot change the what it is giving me. That is what is immutable. You cannot change it. Okay, once it is there, once you have called the range with these parameters, it will always give that output. Okay, we'll not see the for example as of now because we want to cover it in the looping statements. Okay, so this is another point before I show you an example on the visual code. Okay, why I have mentioned this one is, see, when I have said it is immutable, which means you cannot change it. So there is no question of assigning the value. Okay, so the index starts with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let us say this is what is my output is. But before it is finalized or saved into variable or list or any data type, I cannot change the value at any position because it's immutable, right? So neither I cannot change saying that okay at 0th index. Okay, so first element will start with 0th index and it goes on. So if I want to change the value at the 0th index, okay, I cannot change it. It gives me an error. Compiler will give me an error saying that okay, it, it doesn't support. Okay, I hope it's clear. We'll quickly see one or two examples here. Okay, I will directly print range of 5. For now, let us completely comment it. So I'm using multi-line comment. How we're gonna do 3 quotes and then ends with 3 quotes. Okay, and you can see the range 0 to 5. Okay, we want all the value. Let us print all the values. I will use a for loop for I in range of 5, print I value. Okay, so as of now we'll remove this scenario here and then we'll run I value. Okay, like since you are practicing I'm using the I. Okay, don't mind it. Now yes, let's print this one. So you can see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5 is not considered. Okay, let us say I want to print it from starting with 5 only and then ending till 11th. Okay, so what will be my values? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It should end at 10. Okay, let me save it and then run it again. So you can see 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, let us define the frequency also. It should give me every second number. Skip one number in between. If I do that, let me clear it for you and then run it. It will start with 5, of course, and then 7 and then 9. If I make it 3, okay, just to avoid any confusion for you guys, you can see 5. There are two numbers skipped and then the third number is printed. Okay, so that's how you can define. So in case if I want to change the value, right, like you saw here in the example, right? So I will say uh, I'll take this example here. Okay, say range 1 equals to range of 5 to 3 for I in range 1. We'll change this one. Okay, and then here again I want to change the zeroth value of it, right? So what I will do, if one, so this variable is storing all those generated values, and I'm trying to print those values here using the loop. Okay, we'll talk about the loop maybe at this point. Once you know the loop, the syntax and how it works, then you can practice this range also. But for now, understand that what range does and how it generates the numbers. Okay, so in this case, it gives me an error. Okay, that's what I'm expecting. Let us see. So you can see here, type error, range object does not support item assignment. Okay, because it is immutable. Okay, I hope it is clear for you guys still here. uh, I think we covered enough for the session one for you guys to go back and practice. Okay, try both PyCharm and Visual Code and see which is more convenient for you. Okay, see you in next session. Bye.